monies should go to NGCDF instead?
Let me start by saying that as somebody from the coast, I'm a Majimboist. And this debate started at independence with the late Ronald Ngala and Akinamoi when they talked of Majimbo. I'm happy, or let me put it that I'm half happy now that we have the county governments because they resemble Majimbo. We are not there yet, but that is what I would want it to be, that it is actually this becomes a Majimbo government where now we are having funds taken to the Majimbos and Majimbos now run their affairs as they deem fit. But I would have been happier if Senator Nyuto had started by thanking the Kenya Kwanza government that despite the fact that the Constitution says at least 15%, we are now dispersing 25% and above. And that is not the law. We could as well reduce it to 15% if we were to go as per the Constitution, because the basic is 15% to the counties. Now we are talking of 25, 28. It should have started by saying at least the National Assembly has gone out of its way to appropriate more than what would have been. If we were to appropriate less than 15%, I think that is where now the problem would have been. But as it is, the National Assembly gives them more than what the Constitution says. But I will have no problem with giving them more money because, as I said, I'm a Majimboist myself. What normally brings in the issue of whether it should be 500 billion or 300 billion is that we have also the national government to run. There are those functions, as is it in Schedule the ones in Senate, the functions of the county government, which have been devolved. For sure, they need to be funded. But again, there is issues like the national security. This is solely under the national government and many other functions. We have ministries. There are some projects which certainly can only be done by the national government. Those mega projects, we are talking about highways, when we are talking about water projects, which go across counties, that can only be done by the national government. So a point reaches where, one, even you will say in your own home, yes, you would want your kid to take pizza and spaghetti. But then you have school fees to pay for the same kid. Now, what is the priority? If you are to pay all the school fees, certainly he might not get spaghetti. You might give him pocket money to take just milk and bread. And that is the logic that we are using. We would want more money to the counties, but again, there are those functions which are supposed to be done by the national government, and you cannot starve them. And that is where now it goes to the mediation. It can go to court. It's so sad when you actually go to court, because it ends up hurting the county governments, including to a point where now they cannot even pay salaries. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why the governors think of going to court instead of ending this thing at mediation. But I have also other two things which I want to put it very clearly, because we are on a national platform. It is not in order, Professor, and you know it very well, to mislead the public and say members of parliament appointed those boards. Just go to the NGCDF Act. And the national board is done by the Public Service Commission. If it comes to the committees, the Public Service Commission delegates that role to the DCCs now, the Deputy County Commissioners. They're the ones who chair those meetings when the local NGCDF committees are being appointed. There is no role of a member of parliament. Let it be very clear. And if there is need to legislate more, we will be more than willing to legislate and put it in the correct procedure. When it comes to stealing of funds, of course we know. And this is a national debate. That is why we have ESCC, we have DCI, we have all manners of other government agencies to handle this. But we know Kenyans have an appetite for stealing, not just the member of parliament, because he's a Kenyan. You can take it all through from the local matatu tout who runs a matatu, whether he remits all that he collects to the owner. You can run that to the border and ask yourself whether he remains all that he collects to the owner up to that level. So when it comes to the fight against corruption, it is hurting this country, it's not good for this country, and we should fight it as leaders, instead of just pointing fingers that a particular individual is corrupt, and more so generalized. Otherwise, if for any reason, either governor or a PS or a CS or a member of parliament misuse any type of funds, whether by law or not, he should be taken to court and the normal procedure taken. As it is now, a member of parliament even has no room to misuse the NGCDF fund. He has no room at all, unlike a governor who has a role of execution. Ours is just oversight.
Okay.
How do we misuse those funds?
And Professor, I know you'd want to react to that, but I want to move this conversation forward. You'll still get an opportunity to do that, because it would appear there are a lot of grey lines on what role which level of government should play, which house of parliament or legislation should play. And I'd like to draw your attention to the front page of